You want to get on the action? We want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG @FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter @FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd.
Well, it's a big show.
Welcome to The Fade Route
It's a big bad show tonight.
with DNZ.
Yeah, it's a big show.
Here are your hosts,
Cracking up, telling them lies.
DNZ.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. We got a great show for you tonight. The XFL debuts again. Russell Westbrook might be headed to the Clippers. And we talk about what will be the biggest MLB storyline all year. But we'll begin today's show with Manny Machado. Star third baseman announced earlier in the week that he will be opting out of his contract at the end of the season, despite the Padres' attempts to re-sign him. Z, is this a smart move for Manny? And how excited are you that he's going to be joining the Mets?
Stop. Do not put that out there.
It's just Manny being Manny, man.
Do not put that. Yeah, go the Red Sox. Manny being Manny. Go the fucking Red Sox. Oh, God. Is it a smart move? I mean, he's betting on himself. Like, I'll give him that. Like, Manny Machado is betting on himself, right?
Well, it's just a market thing, right? I mean, if you look at what everybody's making, you see what Aaron Judge just did, and we're going to talk about Ohtani.
Yeah,
but,
we are going to talk about Ohtani, but he's not.
It just, I mean, come on. Wasn't he like the runner-up in the National League MVP voting last year? He had to be top 5.
I mean, he has a Silver Slugger, 6-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove. He's won a Platinum Glove, but I don't know. I don't see him as being like.
I mean, he's a dirty player, right?
He's a dirty player.
We know. We all agree he's a dirty player.
Yeah,
he's a dirty player.
All right, so let's talk about dirty players, right? Let's talk about, if we're gonna do like an apples to apples comparison, right? Ohtani is like a generational type player. If we're gonna do like a comp in the NBA, it would be like Giannis being a free agent, right? Manny Machado's Chris Paul.
Yeah. Well, a younger version.
A younger Chris Paul.
Right.
So,
I can get on board with that.
Right. So, he's good. He's talented, but he comes with baggage. Is he going to want to play shortstop again? Is he, what situation is going to best behoove him? Is he going to fetch what a unique talent like Shohei Ohtani is going to fetch? I would argue no. Now, he's very good, but the first go-round, he didn't get what was expected. What has he done since then that makes you think that he's going to get it the second go-round? What makes you think, what stratospheric numbers did he reach? He didn't. So he is a cog in a wheel at this point in that particular scenario where you have 4 shortstops in the infield, in San Diego.
Oh, okay. So you're just saying he's a cog in the wheel in San Diego. You're not saying he's a cog in the wheel in Major League Baseball.
No,
right?
He's a cog in the wheel in San Diego. Now, at what point does ego get the best of him? It already did once when he was in Baltimore. Is he going to want to come to a team, right? Again, basketball comps. Is he going to be a Kevin Durant where he's satisfied going to a team and playing second banana to a Francisco Lindor? Is he going to go to the Phillies and say, okay, Trey, I'll move to third, or okay, Trey, I'll move to second? Like, I don't know if that is going to be like, I don't know if that's going to be what he wants to do this go round. But he's very good. You know, it's one of those things that I can't get on board with this because he is successful in San Diego. Have they been ultimately successful? No, they've not gotten to the promised land.
Yeah, but
he made that team relevant.
Yeah, but look at who they're going against, man. I mean, they're playing against the Dodgers, who've won the fucking pennant, I think, 9 out of the last 10 years.
Which a team that he spurned to go to San Diego. So it's one of those.
He played one season with the Dodgers, right?
He did.
He certainly did.
Yes, he did. The Orioles traded him to the Dodgers.
66 games for the Dodgers.
Yes. So the Dodgers lost out on Turner. They're getting older. They're losing out on players. Would it make sense to make a run at Manny Machado and bringing him back into the fold? Sure. Why not? But the Giants could use him.
Yep.
You're telling me that a team like the Astros wouldn't bring him in? A team like the Blue Jays, a team that's already kind of stacked, wouldn't make an offer? Like, it's not a situation in Toronto. He's going to go up against Vladdy for control of that team. I don't think Vlad Jr. has the ego like that. It's not going to be like a clash of wills like it would be in New York with Lindor. Or if he came to the Yankees, I don't think the Yankees would deal with his nonsense.
Yo, 100% they're going for him.
I don't know if Manny Machado will be able to handle it. I don't know. They may try. They may try.
Care. You think he cares? I don't think he cares.
He will when he's hitting 242 and he's getting booed out of the building.
When was the last time he batted 242? Z, come on. He's like a 300. He's like a 275 to 300 hitter.
256 in 2019.
No, yeah, that was 4 years ago. We're in 2023. 304, 278, 298. And the guy's a baller. He plays. Look at this. He played over 150 games the last 4 seasons. He had only in 2020 did he not play that many years, but that was the COVID year, right? So that's probably, that was the COVID year where he only played 60 games. Dude plays. Dude's a baller. I think any team would want to add Manny. I think it's smart for him to opt out. The only thing I'm questioning is why leave San Diego? Why would you want to, like, their owner and their general manager seem like they're committed to winning, right? They went and got Bogarts. They have the clown who hurts himself on a dirt bike. They went and got Soto. They have Darvish. They've got pitching. So why would you leave here? Ego, money.
And money.
Money. So it's just about money for Manny. So who's got money? Your team. Your team. He has no problem playing third base for your team. That if I was a betting man, if I could throw a bet down, that's where I would say he's gonna go. Because Steve doesn't care. Steve's gonna have like the best infield money could buy, even though all his boys are gonna be playing in the World Baseball Classic. That should be interesting. So I've always liked Manny. He's a dirty player, but he's good. Like, he's a good man. I'd love it if the Braves added him, but I could see teams like, I could definitely see the Yankees. Yes, Toronto. I don't know if Toronto's gonna bother. I think Toronto thinks they're there.
They're not. Newsflash, you're not.
Why do you think they're not? What do you? We're gonna order them up in the next couple of weeks, but I like Toronto. I like their power. I like their ability to hit. Boston. Maybe Boston wants to start spending money again.
They're not close. Manny is gonna want the quick fix.
He wants the quick, or does he want to get paid? White Sox. he'd fit in really good in
No,
Southside.
he would not.
No?
Him and Tim Anderson?
We gonna fight. Step up in the party hot. Step up in the
Exactly.
party hot. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Minnesota. Him
With
and Carlos
Correa.
Correa on the left side of the infield.
Oh my
How'd you
God.
get here? What about the Angels? I mean, Ohtani's saying he wants to see that they're committed to winning. Man, adding Manny Machado says you're committed to winning, right?
I don't know that it does. I would actually say, I would argue that getting a pitcher would help.
Texas, the Rangers,
Oh dear God, why would you bother?
they want
Why
to
would you-
win. They have made moves the last couple of years where they're clearly trying to win. Well,
you
then
and I
have-
both ordered them up last week. I had them at 4th. You had them at 3rd, or
Yeah,
vice versa.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I don't see it happening, but I can see how they could try.
Here's
There's
one.
there's no place for him in the NL Central.
Here's
San
one.
Francisco is a viable option for him,
Oh,
right?
it's his show. Brandon Crawford will move. Like
They got the
whole
money.
thing. They have
They
the
got
money. They're gonna erase Aaron Judge's name and they're gonna
Oh.
put Manny Machado's name on it. So it's gonna. I mean,
Well,
that
they tried
really-
to put Correa's name on it. That didn't work out.
Yeah, well, he also doesn't have the injury history that
Talk about
Carlos
a team
Correa
like
does.
striking out like crazy. It's like shit.
I mean, we're gonna talk about them later, but that was definitely a few swings and a miss by San Francisco. But what about the Marlins? I think the Marlins would get their bona fide star that you can put in with the young core. I mean, it mimics A-Rod almost to the T, and he's very A-Rod. He
Oh,
reminds me a lot of A-Rod. So it wouldn't surprise me if they gave him a boatload of dough and he goes down there to, put the Marlins back on the island of relevancy. I mean, that makes sense. And it's Miami. It's not like it's Tampa, right? Miami's a major market.
Yeah.
Like, that would get asses and seats down there. So I could definitely
I think
see
you're
that.
overstating that. I mean, you really think that? I don't know about all that, man. But wait, man. I mean, I know we're not talking about the Mets, but for Verlander and Scherzer, over under 16 wins apiece for those two guys.
Over. Combined over.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm looking at, but not by much. I'm looking 1 is 16, 1 is 17. Over under a combined 4 stints on the IL. That's a little bit more realistic. They're both.
I'm
getting
not
old.
worried about Verlander. I worry about Noodle Arm. I worry about Dead Arm. That guy. I'm not worried about Verlander at all. He got a new arm. He showed it off last season. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about Noodle Arm. But man, if you can have them both winning over 16 games. That's pretty impressive. But Manny Machado might be the lead story today, but the lead story all season, I think, is going to be Ohtani. During a press conference last week, Ohtani stated he was an Angel as of right now, and that is what he's focusing on. Will Ohtani be the biggest story all year, and will his next contract start with a 5 or a 6?
Well, we'll start with the We'll start with the second question. It's going to be 6.
Wow,
6 and a quarter.
that's wild.
Easily. Now, because of the simple fact that he's a two-way player, right? You're going to get a top flight pitcher and you're going to get a top flight hitter in one guy. So take what you will for a pitcher, take what you will for a hitter, and combine the two. That's what you're gonna command if you're Shohei Ohtani. Now, he has delivered the goods. Now, where does he end up? That's the question. Now, his commitment to winning, what is it?
Well, it's not
Right.
only. Well, I mean, it's not where he's going to end up. Is like, I mean, do you really think he's gonna be the biggest story all year, or will it be Judge hitting like 65 home runs? Will it be Volpe
No.
coming up?
No.
Will it, or is there some other dark horse story that we're not even considering? Are the Rockies gonna all of a sudden
No.
win the NL West?
Give me another one. Give me another one. No, I think it's going to be Fernando Tatis Jr.
That's the story?
That's the story. What's he going to be when he comes back from his suspension? Is he going to be a reckless player? How's he going to fit in with the team? How's he going to handle playing the outfield? It's going to be a major story all year. Now, Shohei Ohtani, it's going to be a major story next year because he's going to be a free agent.
So you don't think he gets traded at the deadline?
I don't think they could. You would have to move heaven and earth to make this happen. If they were going to do it, you do it in the offseason. If you're going to do it, you do it then. I don't necessarily think that teams are going to want to shell out what you're going to need to shell out for Shohei Ohtani for a rental.
I think you would make the move with the idea of re-signing him, right? And the thing is like you have teams like the Dodgers.
That's very risky.
They have teams like when was the last time that didn't happen? Like, look at Lindor. Lindor made the move to sign, right?
It was right down to the deadline.
Yeah.
So there are no guarantees. Let's think back to when the Houston Astros acquired Randy Johnson in 1998. He was gone the next year.
Yeah.
Like, it's a risk. Unless I have something ironclad guaranteed he signs the contract that day, I'm not making that trade. It's too big of a risk. It's too big of a gamble.
But if you're the Dodgers, you got to be
it,
ballsy enough to think that we're going to pull this off. He ain't going to say no to us.
The
if you're like the Marlins,
the difference
Phillies.
between the Dodgers and other markets is that he plays in Anaheim. He plays 2 hours away. He knows that market. You're going to trade him to the Bronx? Like, that is something that he may not necessarily like. He didn't like you the first go around when he ended up signing with the Angels.
Yeah, but what about Queens?
I don't know.
I mean, his boy Epler's there.
His boy Epler is there. But are you willing to do what is necessary in the season, right? You're talking about probably Jeff McNeil, probably Francisco Alvarez, probably Brett Beatty, and a slew of prospects. Because it's going to cost you a lot. Now, deep farm systems like the Braves, they might be able to do that. But teams that are gun-shy, like the Mets and the Yankees, how many times are we going to get burned on prospects?
See, I don't think the Mets are gun-shy. The Yankees are recently, but I don't think the Mets are. You think the Mets are?
They are very hesitant to give up their top prospects. And Billy Epler comes from that Cashman's tree. So Cashman treats his prospects like gold. And unfortunately, there's a lot of fool's gold there. And there has been a lot of fool's gold with the Mets. So
I mean, he's in a contract. He's in a contract year. This guy is in a contract year. I mean, what kind of numbers is this dude gonna put up this year? I mean, he's already been their best pitcher and their best hitter. Cy
Young, MVP.
Oh my gosh!
Like, that's what you're aiming for?
I think there are a lot of people that are still upset that he didn't win the MVP last year, and I think that's why his story has been more front and center than Judge or Tatis Jr. or anybody else this year, which rightfully so, right? I mean, I know we differ on this, but I think he got cheated. I mean, I get that Judge did what he did, but the dude is the best hitter and the best pitcher on the damn team. Like, he's hitting bombs and striking people out, which is incredible. Like, he's gonna sell tickets wherever he goes, and he's gonna compete at a high level wherever he goes.
Yeah, but is he going to monopolize the salary? So eventually it comes to the point of, are the pockets deep enough? Cohen's is deep enough. Now, I don't know.
Dude's buying ads during the Super Bowl. You saw that shit?
Yeah.
You spit out your cornflakes when you saw that? What the hell are you doing?
I mean, it was a local ad. Local ads are cheaper than national ads.
Yeah.
But still. but Cohen has deep pockets.
Easy.
Yeah, don't you trying to kill me. The Dodgers have deep pockets. The Padres have deep pockets. Now, if you lose out on Manny Machado, that becomes very interesting. You now suddenly have a 1-2 punch of Darvish and Ohtani.
Wow.
That would be very interesting to pair, and then have a middle of the order potentially of Tatis Jr., Soto, and Ohtani. Like, I mean, they like to throw money around like it's going out of style.
No, they do.
Now,
I mean, they're committed to winning. I mean, they were shit for a while, so I get it. Like, it's going through a cycle, right? It's like, okay, we've been shit. We were shit for like 2 or 3 years. Let's start spending money and be relevant again. You know, it's just look at the Rangers, the same thing. It's like, okay, we've been shit. All right, let's start spending money. Marcus Semien, let's go get that fool from Queens, and let's do this with Corey Seager.
But this is new money versus old money. New money eventually runs out, and then they have to deal off players. Like, that's what ends up happening. Like, it's not sustainable. Like, old money, like the Dodgers, old money, like the Yankees. Can you imagine Ohtani in Fenway Park? That would be very interesting. That would be very interesting. Can you imagine Ohtani on the south side of Chicago? Possibly. No. I think so. Like, you definitely... Seattle, there's always an option with Seattle.
But see, I say that to people, and they're like, he's not going to Seattle. Like, why wouldn't he want to go to Seattle? Come on, Ichiro. Like, they've had good Asian American ball players up there. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, it's a different scenario in that, it's not the same thing. The ballpark is not going to play well for him. It definitely is. It'll play well for him as a pitcher. It'll definitely enhance his numbers there, but I don't know if it necessarily helps him offensively. But then, if he cared about offensive numbers, he would go to the Rockies. So
hitting him out of the stadium.
Yeah, he'd be hitting him in a mile high. But it depends on how deep the pockets are and what you're willing to do to move heaven and earth to make this happen. For that kind of contract and for that kind of extension, if you were to do it in midseason, it's going to cost you so much. I don't know how teams are going to... But I just don't see it. Because let's just from the Yankees' perspective alone. Let's just go from the Yankees, because they're going to be the hungriest, right?
Yeah.
All right. Volpe, Dominguez, probably Peraza. I would probably want 1 or 2 pitchers. Like, it gets very rich very fast.
Aaron Hicks.
Oh God, you would have to offset salary. You would have to either Donaldson or Hicks.
All right, this is how we're going to do this. You're taking Aaron Hicks. I don't care if you have to sleep with my wife. You're taking Aaron Hicks.
Brian, his wife's in a coma.
But the only thing with Ohtani, as great as he is, I don't know if he's a guy you build around. If that sounds weird, right? I feel like he's an addition. Like, you've already got something going on, and this kind of puts you over the top. Like, I don't think you can acquire him and then build around him, right? And I only say that because, okay, how long is he really going to be a top flight pitcher, right? I mean, eventually he's just going to be a DH, right? Or eventually he's just going to be playing first.
Realistically, he has a fastball, a splitter, and he's got kind of a slider. Like, it's not the best slider in the world, so it's essentially a fastball splitter. Like, how many years can you get out of that? Like, Hideo Nomo only got so long.
No, David Cone got
David Cone. No, David Cone had pretty good breaking stuff.
Yeah.
But you can only rely on a fastball and a splitter for so long before eventually you either become a relief pitcher.
They're hammering the slow crack.
I'll throw it. You make sure you catch it.
Where do you think he wants to go? What do you think he wants?
The truth
serum.
serum.
He clearly, there's got to be a part of him that wants a certain market, wants a certain team, wants this to go a certain way. I mean, I don't think there's any part of him that wants to stay with the Angels. I think he's kind of like, this isn't. I don't want to be Mike Trout.
No, the writing's on the wall.
Yeah, he sees Mike Trout, and Mike Trout's like a content baseball player. Like, I don't care how well we're doing. I'm staying here. I'm making my money. I like it here. Like, whatever. And I feel like he looks at Mike Trout and he's like, I don't want to be that guy. So I'm not in it for this. I'm not in it for this.
Yeah, I mean, Shohei Ohtani is the face of baseball at this point. I would argue that he is the face of baseball. Now, of course, Stephen A. Smith would disagree with me because, Stephen A. Smith is like that. But truth be told, you want to go to a big market, right? Now, Anaheim, like, you can say what you want. The Los Angeles Angels, it's Anaheim. You play in Anaheim. You play 2 hours south of LA.
I love LA.
Like, that's the be all end all. Like, that is where you want to be. Either in LA or in New York. Like, say what you will, those still get eyes. Right? You're not going to go to the Kansas City Royals. You're not going to go to the St. Louis Cardinals. They're not going to go to the Milwaukee Brewers. You're not going to the Rockies or the Diamondbacks. You're going to a team with cachet if you're Ohtani. Like, you tried the Angels. Like, you went, it was a cute story. Like, I just want to go, I don't want anything too big. It's that first house. It's that starter home. And then you start making some money and you can afford something better kind of thing. So you kind of upgrade. So what would be the biggest upgrades out there? Dodgers or Yankees? Now, it's a question of fit. It's a question of personality type. If Shohei Ohtani is, if he has that outsized rock star persona, then he'll fit right in either market. But if he's a little more reserved, if he's a little, shy around the media, if he's a little bit, if he's a little bit of a background type player, he's a little bit of a wallflower, I would suggest the Dodgers. Because with the Yankees, it's going to be a microscope like he's never experienced. Because there's going to be instant pressure that has not been felt before. Right? Because the Yankees have not won since 2009. He's going to be the magic bullet. He's going to be the guy who, he's the instant X factor. He's the guy who's going to take it over the top. And then you'll have, Judge, Ohtani, and Stanton in the middle of the order. And then they still won't be able to get anything done. Now, I ultimately think he's going to end up with the Dodgers. They missed out on Soto. They're going to want him. They're going to want him bad. And I'm sure they can feel the Padres coming. Say what they will. They feel the Padres coming. So if they want to extend this window, because Kershaw's getting older, Dustin May, he's coming back. But if you want to keep extending this as far as you can, you want to keep moving forward, a 28-year-old pitcher who's entering the prime of his career and who's a monster slugger as well, I gotta say, I would go with the Dodgers if I was him. And we know they can afford him. We know they can absolutely afford him. But, inject yourself with the truth serum. What are you thinking?
I really don't know. I really don't know. I really believe he's heading to either the Mets or the Yankees. That would be my best guess. Because I think they're gonna fork over. I think it's gonna happen at the trade deadline. Because the Angels aren't gonna let him walk for nothing. They're not gonna lose out on him, and he's not gonna re-sign there. So, and they're not gonna take their chances. They're gonna get whatever they can get from who's gonna give them the most. And a team like the Mets will be able to give him whatever money he wants. And I think a team like the Yankees will exercise whatever power they can to give him what he wants. But I'd lean heavier towards the Mets over the Yankees.
Do you love brownies? Of course you love brownies. But you know what's better than a brownie? A delicious, handcrafted, gourmet brownie delivered right to your doorstep. That's what our guys at Sweet Life Brownie Co. offer. Chef Tommy D and the crew offer a dozen delicious delights that you will crave, from the classic OB to Dutch apple to campfire s'mores and many more. Check out their website, sweetlifebrownieco.com, for their Friday brownie drops. At noon, their site goes live and you see what they're making. Since you're there, become a site member and earn points. You earn 50 points just by signing up. Make sure you follow them on Instagram and Facebook too, at sweetlifebrownie_co, for the latest updates and their latest releases and creations. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com. Give them a call, 845-641-3043, and tell them D&Z sent you. That's sweetlifebrownieco.com, 845-641-3043. Sweet Life Brownie Co., because there's always room for a brownie.
Moving over to the NBA, your boy Russell Westbrook has bought his way out of Utah. The alleged top 75 player and future Hall of Famer, I say that very loosely, is rumored to be heading back to LA, but this time to play with the Clippers. Is this the player the Clippers need to make noise in the playoffs this year?
No.
He's just not good.
No.
He's just not good.
Absolutely
This is
not.
like Derek Carr situation. Like,
I don't understand.
Are we really talking
what
about
doing.
this? Are we really talking about this? Like, this dude is so bad that he can't shoot anymore. He hasn't been able to shoot for the last 3 or 4 years.
The only way this works is if he is completely a pass-first player. You have Kawhi, you have Paul George. Like, if they somehow get to him and say, you will never shoot the ball. Pass the fucking ball or you sit. Now, without him, they're at 33-28, right? Clippers are second in the Pacific. And they made some moves, right? They definitely they adjusted their roster accordingly. But I really don't see the personality fit. I don't see the personality fit. Now, like you said many times, Russell Westbrook is a very intense guy. Now, if things aren't going his way, is he going to keep moving forward like that? Can he compartmentalize like a Kawhi Leonard can? Kawhi Leonard's stone cold. But he's just there about the ball. He's there, he's playing, he's good. Paul George is a little bit in between. Paul George is a little aloof, right? Mr. Playoff P, very into himself, his image. The moment it goes south, I don't know necessarily how it's going to work.
But why? It's not going to go south. Why would it go south? See, I mean, Kawhi Leonard is a quiet leader on that team. Ty Lue is actually a really good coach. PG-13, while he can't hit clutch shots, He's a baller. He plays very well. He actually played with Russell Westbrook before in OKC.
And what they do in OKC? Is there a ring that I'm missing?
No, but
Yeah.
whose fault is that? I mean, I don't think it's any of their faults. I just think that they were up against much better talent at the time. But I'm just trying to say he's to me he's not he's negative because he's just bad, not because I don't think he's gonna cause drama. I mean, even with the Lakers, I thought his attitude was pretty positive. I think he was averaging like 7.5 assists a game. It's just that you can't rely on him to make shots. Like, it's almost like you and I out there just passing the ball around. Like, there's zero. It's like back in the day when they used to let Rondo shoot. Remember? It's like, yeah, go ahead, Rondo, shoot. We're not letting any of these Hall of Famers beat us. You could beat us, but we're not letting the Hall of Famers beat us. And I just think you get into that situation, you know. And he doesn't play particularly well without the ball. You know, so that's my one hiccup I have.
He doesn't play well without the ball. Well, when you're Mr. Triple Double, you know, that kind of goes without saying. But how are you going to fit in? And this has been the issue with Russell Westbrook, fitting in with other players that need the ball as much, if not more, than you do. Right? LeBron, just like that. Yeah, friends, great. Doesn't matter. What Russell Westbrook was most successful when he was a ball-dominant player. You have two superstars who are better than you. They're better than you. So, I don't see how this works at all. Right? He's better than John Wall. Whoopee!
That's right, and that's the other
Whoopee!
thing. Well, that's the thing is, like, I the John Wall situation is wild. They traded him back to Houston. He's still not gonna play for them, which is wild.
That's very petty.
And that's the thing is, like, I don't think you say he's better than John Wall. I don't think he's much different than John Wall. It's pretty much the same deal. You're getting a guy.
He's willing to show up to work. Isn't that something? He's willing to show up to work.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that. I will give Russell Westbrook that, but that's about it. Now
he's got nothing else to do.
Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't take the Clippers over the top. You know, it doesn't move my needle. I think Denver's better than them. I think Memphis is better than them. If Phoenix somehow gets their act together and they're able to play, unlike what happened in Brooklyn, if Phoenix is able to get all of their big men, all their big four on the floor, Phoenix is better than them. Dallas, if they can ever get it together, right? That backcourt can carry a series. I don't think that the Clippers, as presently constituted, can really make a lot of noise. Now, of the top six, I didn't even mention Memphis, but of the top six, you know, they could probably, most likely, could take out Sacramento. Sacramento's been bad for so long. This is the first year they've been good. So, yeah, they could definitely work with that. Warriors get hot. Warriors can take them out. There's very few teams. There are very few teams that the Clippers like can handily beat. Everybody here, it's either going to be favored the other way, or it's going to be very close. Even a team like the Nuggets, who haven't, you know, lived up to potential, the Nuggets are talented enough that they will take out the Clippers. I don't know if this move necessarily takes them over the top. Does it move them deeper into the playoffs? Maybe by a round. Maybe one round. But that's really about it. But we would be remiss if we did not talk about the NBA All-Star game that was last weekend out in Utah. Giannis's team beat LeBron's team 184-175. Let that sink in. It was 99-95 at half. Coach Mike Malone, who was coaching in the game, said it was one of the worst basketball games he'd ever seen in his life. So, how much longer is the NBA going to take this for granted and, just keep sending out this crap on All-Star Weekend?
I think there is going to be some serious conversations during the next collective bargaining agreement because people paid a lot of money to go to that game and it was just trash. It was just trash. People were not getting back on defense. People making poor attempts to play at the ball. Like the problem, you're just not playing with any pride. You're not respecting the game. I remember back when watching Jordan and Tim Hardaway and those guys playing the All-Star game. Yeah, they goofed around for 3 quarters. But in the 4th quarter, I'm trying to win this game, and I'm not just going to let guys blow by me. I'm going to block it. I'm going for rebounds. I'm going for the ball. It's just embarrassing. Like, how could Adam Silver trot that out there like that and just be totally cool with it?
Well, he's in the player's pocket, Like, he is the ultimate player's commissioner.
But if you're going to be like that, then don't even go. Let's get guys there that want to play, that respect it's disrespectful to the game the way they carried themselves in that manner, in my opinion.
It is, I wouldn't say it's disrespectful because it is an exhibition, but at the end of the day,
the Harlem Globetrotters playing exhibition games that were more exciting than that.
But that's what this is. It's entertainment. Air quotes. There's nothing entertaining about this. Like, you want to just watch people cruise to the basket and try some dunks? Okay, that's fine. But it doesn't move the needle. And no matter what you try, whatever you try and do to make it happen, it's not really working, right? You have the team captains, and then you have the draft, but now you can't have the last picked be the last picked because it's, the person who is really last picked is going to get offended that he was last picked, and it's very middle school playground bullshit. Like, this is what the NBA All-Star Game has become. I would prefer if they scrapped it and took a cue from the NFL. The Pro Bowl games was bizarrely entertaining. It was. As a skills competition, it was bizarrely entertaining. I think you can move towards that in the future.
Yeah, but the NBA already does skills competition. They do a dunk contest. They do a 3-point shooting contest. What about 3-on-3 tournaments? That'd be fun.
No.
No.
You still have to play the game.
No.
Pablo Torre mentioned a one-on-one tournament.
That's awful.
That, I don't know about that. That would take too long.
Don't listen to his podcast. That was awful.
Yeah, that doesn't really do it for me. 3-on-3 in the NHL doesn't do it for me.
I love 3-on-3 in the AHL. That's fun.
Yeah, I just don't like the concept of the round robin tournament. I don't like it at all. So, but I do tune in for fastest skater, hardest shot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Breakaway relay. Like, I'm interested in that. I don't care about the game. I think
3-on-3 half court, and you vote for the All-Stars, or you even vote for team selection, or have somebody create the teams. It all takes place on the Sunday. Games are to 11, and there are 2 games going on at the same time. on the half courts, and then you're basically playing a round robin. The whole thing should last like 2 or 3 hours, and then that's it. And then you have a team that represents, they won the 3-on-3 tournament. They've been dying to get some kind of NCAA tournament into like the NBA season. That's the best way to do it. It's bragging rights, like, let's put it this way, Z. LeBron and Giannis, they ain't gonna lose in the first round. They ain't gonna be shut out like 11-1 or something like that. Like, they're gonna make sure that they get to the finals or that they move on, regardless of who they're playing against. They're gonna take pride in that. They're gonna take that seriously.
I don't necessarily agree. I think you're there for the parties, you're there for the media obligations, and Giannis will take it seriously. LeBron's at the tail end of his career.
Like, think about like a guy like Giannis being able to team with, just team with guys he doesn't get to team with. Like, he gets to select who he's gonna be, who's gonna be his part of his 3-man group. I mean,
that doesn't excite me. That doesn't excite me whatsoever. Like, you're not moving my needle at all. Like, none of this is exciting. I don't care about the 24 best NBA players because the NBA product is crap. So how do you make the NBA product less crappy so that I would think about it? Here's an idea, and I think that the players would really get into this. Winner take all. Everybody's paycheck on the floor. And they did that 1 year. Everybody's paycheck. The winner gets everything. You lose, you get nothing. Can you imagine?
You lose, you have to be you face a firing squad outside the stadium. I think that would move.
You have to push the bus back to the hotel. You have to push the limo to the party.
You have to walk home with no clothes.
Yeah. But winner
you have to
take
play
all.
For the Sacramento Kings for the rest of the season.
Hey, they're in third place right now. They're in third place in the Western Conference. Some players might sign up for that.
Where's Luke Walton? Is he actually coaching the league anymore? Whatever happened to that guy?
Sexual assault allegations. I believe he's
right.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's done. But rightfully so. Rightfully so, based on what we heard there. But I think that would put some pride in the game.
Oh, he's actually an assistant coach with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, jeez. If you want to hide out, go ahead. But
Wild.
yeah, you have like De'Aaron Fox played 9 minutes, Jaren Jackson Jr. played 8 minutes. You're looking at, Drew Holiday played 9. Like, you're not getting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander only played 10 minutes. Like, really, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Why are these guys showing up? Well, I'm gonna get 2 minutes of play. Why the fuck am I coming? Why am I coming? Just put it on my resume that I was an all-star and move on. But I don't know. Some kind of skills competition, I think, is going to be better off, and beef that up because that's way more interesting. And then if you are so hell-bent on playing a game, winner take all, I think that would get guys really playing hard. Like, they'll actually play defense. Like, they would actually play defense if they meant that they were getting paid and the other guys weren't. You might actually see something there.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
But speaking of guys, some guys getting paid and some aren't. We were talking of the XFL, the XFL 3.0, not even 2.0, 3.0. Debuted this past weekend to a chorus of empty stadiums and small viewership around the U.S. I watched a little bit of it, and I don't know if you did, but
I did.
Yeah. So what did you like? What did you dislike? And what can they improve on?
All right. So what I do like, and I think there is a lot of people that like this, I really like the kickoffs. I think it's fun. I mean, I don't know how it would work on a pro level, because I think the pros would probably get out of that, like, that 5-yard contact and just break it open. I do think they'll come up with stuff to get by that. What I don't like is how The Rock is rocking a number 54 jersey. Like, he's trying to say, like, oh, there's a 53-man roster and I was always number 54. It's like, no, not really, dude, because there's 16 players that go on a practice squad, and any team could make up a practice squad of any player. So the number you are is actually astronomical. Like, you just weren't good enough. It'd just be better if you just wore 00. I mean,
You wore 97 in college. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So it's you weren't number 54. Number 54 probably got on the field one day. You're like, I don't know, 200, 300, something like that bad. Now what they got to do better is they got to get the betting lines out there. That is your fan base. That's your market. That's what you can do better than the NFL can. You've got that. That's your home. That's how you're going to get people to watch these games, is their ability to bet on the game. In-game betting, lines, players over, unders. That's what's going to, like, I was watching it with my brother-in-law and we're sitting there like, this guy can't throw, these people can't block, but man, I'd really like to bet on the game, and I couldn't. You were just basically, at least the sites I was using, you were only allowed to really bet on the, who was going to win, who was going to lose in the over-under. But they got to have more betting opportunities, and it'll grow that way.
I like the kickoff. That is very interesting. That you have one on the 35-yard line, the other one on the 30-yard line, and they cannot move until the ball lands, whether it's in the returner's arms or otherwise. It is very interesting. The tiered extra point system is interesting. It seems gimmicky to me, but there is a way that it could work. It's very similar to like the ABA with the idea of the 3-point shot. Is it possible? And the NFL already does a tiered extra point system anyway, right? You have your extra point, but then you have the option of going for 2. Now, the 3 might be a little gimmicky, but it's something that could possibly, be explored maybe during a preseason. It would certainly add a little bit of drama, right? The uncertainty of whether or not you're actually going to convert.
Well, it allows people to get back in the game, right? If you're down, if you score twice, I mean, you're right back in this. That's an 18-point swing. That's a big difference. I'd like to see them go with a rolling clock. Don't stop the clock. Just keep running the clock. There's no reason to stop it. Keep it running. Keep it rolling. If you want to go to 20-minute quarters, it's fine. But I think it's better if you roll the clock. Just keep the clock rolling, because these guys can't throw, and the end of the game, at certain points of the game, it seems to lag. So I think they'd be better off just having a rolling clock, and maybe just do the college thing where, like, final 2 minutes first downs, or final 4 minutes first down, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely needs some work, because it definitely, there's promise, but again, it seems very gimmicky. The 4th and 15 conversion from their own 25-yard line in the fourth quarter. That's another one, seems very gimmicky. Right. That's something, it's interesting, but could be very gimmicky. You guys see how that works. The overtime. God help us if these games ever get to overtime. It's a shootout. It's the equivalent of a hockey shootout. Like, that's not football. Can we just go back to sudden death overtime, please? Like, do we need to reinvent the wheel? Just go back to fucking sudden death overtime. We're all butthurt because Josh Allen never touched the ball. Well, then they should have won the fucking coin toss or taken the ball away. Plain and simple. You know what? You were penalizing teams for having good kickers. Why? Win the fucking game. Don't let it get to overtime. How about that? There's a radical idea. Try to win the game in regulation. You wouldn't have to do this crap. We have lost the idea of overtime. That being said, my biggest takeaway is that this is like a second chance league or like a reclamation project league. It's not so, I mean, the USFL is more like the guys who never were. These are the guys that kind of were, but then aren't anymore and are trying to get back to it. Like, I texted you on Saturday. I'm like, okay, who's moving your needle? AJ McCarron? Martavis Bryant? Right. What year is this? What fucking year is this? These guys aren't moving the needle. They're just not. And I mean, the numbers were great in St. Louis, but St. Louis is trying to get back into the NFL. Like the NFL, they're still trying to get an NFL team, an NFL franchise to come back to St. Louis. So, I don't know. It just seems like second rate. Like, as cool as the uniforms may look, and as modern as it may seem, and as they're trying different things to make it an alternative, it just comes off as second rate. And what they need to do in order to avoid that is they need to either poach an NFL free agent, which would never happen because I don't know if they necessarily can compete financially, or they need to poach a college player. They need to poach a big-time prospect. That would give instant credibility. Oh, this is a destination league. This guy was like a number one ranked recruit, or this guy could have been the number one pick in the draft. He chose us. I think that is what's going to differentiate them from the AF, differentiate them from the USFL, differentiate them from the XFL 2.0. Because yes, this is 3.0. How many shots are we going to get at this? How many shots? I mean, the football was fine.
Yeah, the football
It was
awful,
fine.
Z.
The football was fine. The football was football.
The guys are dropping passes they shouldn't be dropping. Guys can't throw the ball. Guys can't throw 15-yard outs, man. They can't block. They can't block. They can't block.
You have guys that can't block in the NFL. You have guys that can't run the football in the NFL.
That's not true, man. That's not true.
You have plenty of mediocrity in the NFL too. The problem is that these guys are at the top of the depth chart. That's the problem. That's the problem. The other guy, what you're talking about, right?
The game was unwatchable. The game was unwatchable over the weekend. It got to the point where it's like, dude, just you gotta catch the ball. You're wide open. Catch the football. The one team, I think it was the Vegas team, or no. It's probably the Texas team. They couldn't run the football.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't run, and the running back's running straight up and down. Doesn't get low. Took a helmet to his chest and had to come out of the game. My God, it is brutal. That's not good football, man.
But what do you expect from a third string league? Think about that.
Yeah,
what
that's
do you expect?
Right, and that's why I'm trying to say that I could get by the terrible football if you gave me something else to watch for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm allowed to bet on the game, if I can make interesting bets, that is more attractive to me than watching AJ McCarron throwing the ball downfield. Like, that's just not, it's not appealing. It's just, there's nothing exciting or appealing about the game right now, except for their kickoffs are a little interesting. That's about it.
Yeah. It reminds you that it's not the NFL.
What they need to do is they need to go back to like what NFL Europe did, and they need to work hand in hand with the NFL. You're supposed to be a developmental league, right? And their goal should be to develop quarterbacks, because that's what NFL Europe was all about, was developing quarterbacks, because the NFL was having problems where quarterbacks were getting hurt, where there weren't enough good quarterbacks in the league, or competent quarterbacks in the league. So this is your chance to develop players, mainly the quarterback position, and that's what this should be about. You know, like imagine a guy like Tim Tebow who got to develop his ability to pass for 3 or 4 years before going to the NFL. Instead of sitting behind Brady or sitting behind Mark Sanchez, you know, you could have been in this kind of league developing as a pro passer. You know, who's the guy that came out? Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen, another guy that would have benefited from a league like this.
He'll be there.
Yeah,
He'll be there. Don't give him
he
time.
definitely will. He definitely will. Cooper Rush would have excelled in a league like this, and it would have made him even better to when he eventually got to the NFL. Like that's what you're trying to do. You know, you're trying to develop 1 or 2 positions so that they can make a 53-man roster one day. That's your goal.
But that's what I mean when this is fine for what it is. It's fine for third string football in spring.
Yes.
It's fine for what it is.
It's not right. You're not you don't try to compete with the NFL. That's not what this should be. You're a developmental league and you're spring football. That's what it should be.
Right. Your job, like you said, is to get guys ready for the big show.
Right.
Like your minor league baseball.
Yep, your minor league baseball.
That's your job.
You're low budget minor league baseball. That's what you are. I don't know, and you know, to be honest with you, I don't know if the TV contract it should be the way it is. You know, maybe it's just 1 or 2 games get televised. I know it sounds ludicrous and it sounds stupid, but you need to grow the brand more before you start rolling out all these games and expect all these people to watch. I had fatigue from watching on Saturday. I couldn't fucking watch anymore on Sunday. I couldn't watch any more of that trash. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if it's 1 day a week, if it's a highlighted day where you get like 3 games in 1 day and that's it, or yeah, maybe in the local arena, you know, you'll broadcast the games fine, but nationally, like I'm not.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, right? They took out a few markets. New York isn't available, right?
It's wild.
It is what it is. They kind of understand, right? They didn't build themselves as Dallas. They built themselves as Arlington.
Yeah.
And I think it's the one thing that XFL 1.0 did correctly. Like they had Birmingham, Alabama, right? They had Las Vegas. Las Vegas was nothing at the time. They had nothing.
Right.
They went out there and they cultivated a market. Like, why can't you do that with Birmingham again? Why can't you do that with Salt Lake City? Why can't you do that with fucking Milwaukee? Like, you know, why can't you do that with Richmond, Virginia?
Because I think the other thing that would be a good idea, not that these people need something to play for, but I think it would be a good idea that the winning team, all the players get into camp. They get into camp. Why can't that happen? You can't spread 53 players over 32 teams. And if the coaches want to cut them after a week, 3 days, 4 days, that's fine. But every player who wins the championship should get into camp with the team.
Right. And then what happens? What can the NFL do with that? They can brand the shit out of it. They can make a reality show out of it.
Yeah.
And then you get people watching. And now all of a sudden people are going to the XFL games because they're saying, hey, this guy could possibly be maybe not necessarily on a roster, but he can compete for a job.
Right. And who knows what he might get on practice squad, and who knows what happens. And then if he falls out, all right, come back to the league next year. And I think the other thing they should do is you shouldn't be able to be a career XFL player.
Mm-hmm.
You get 2 to 3 years, and that's it. You know, you're not here. we're a developmental league. It's meant for you to develop your craft and move on. You got 2 to 3 years to do that, and after that, sorry, brah. Because you're going to continue to have talent coming in.
That's true. Now, there's always going to be opportunity. So, I think the coaches are going to do what they're going to do anyway. So they'll cycle out players as they want to do. But ultimately, you have to know your role. As a famous guy once said, know your role and shut your mouth. And of course, we know that's Travis Kelce. Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their hoodies, snapbacks, graphic tees, accessories, and more. Season 3 merch is up now. Get it while you can. Go to fckclout.com and get all of your needs from men and women. That's fckclout.com. It's time for the mail route on the Fade Route. If you want to get featured, hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in those DMs at Fade Route Podcast on IG, or drop us a line on our Twitter page at Fade Route DNZ. All right, boys and girls, our mailbox is full today. And if you want to get in on the action, hit us up at faderoutemail@gmail.com. And if your email makes the cut, you'll hear it on this here show. Our first email comes from Hell's Kitchen Poppy in, well, Hell's Kitchen. What's up, guys? I saw the Mets commercial during the Super Bowl and I was confused. Is Uncle Steve trying to sell tickets, attract players, or show more people how much money he has?
He's just trying to show people how much money he has. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to mean. That commercial is not going to make you want to go buy tickets, number one. And number two, I mean, I don't think you're trying to attract players to the Mets. That doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I just think he wants to show, hey, I could buy a Super Bowl ad. No other owners doing that shit.
Well,
business expense.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you definitely, and it was a local ad. It was not a national ad. Let's not get it twisted
money
here. They still cost money, but they're not going to cost on the level of a national ad. But you know, you got your players out there. You got your Lindors. You got your Nimos. You got Edwin Diaz. Mr. Met was there. You know, other teams in the market aren't doing that. You don't see the Boston Red Sox putting that out there. Usually they're saved for ESPN commercials. So, you know, it was just a little, hey, we're here. We're here. We're not going anywhere. Remember, you want to come out. We're the fun place to be. I mean, some people will be attracted to that. The Mets fans are already kind of dyed in the wool. So you're not really attracting diehards that way. But maybe you're attracting the casual. Maybe you're attracting the guy who just wants to go hang out, you know, in the Jim Beam section and just be there for the socialization of it, you know, be there for the event. So I see where he's going. I definitely see where he was going. And I mean, it's fine. It was fun. It didn't take itself too seriously. And, you know, if more teams did that, if more teams actually invested in their teams, like, we wouldn't have these Steve Cohen rules. I'm just throwing that out there. So, you know, he's giving it back. and that's okay. Like, he's giving it back. Email number 2 comes from Claire in Worcester. New to the show. I saw the Bruins slap the Islanders on Saturday, and I'm starting to think nobody in the Eastern Conference has a chance. Is there anybody in the East that can stop the Bruins?
I'll let you lead off with this one.
Oh, it's hard, right? Like, the Bruins
They're damn
are
good, man.
Yeah, they are damn good.
They're damn good.
The Bruins are, they are extremely good. They're extremely deep. I mean, 43, 8, and 5.
8.
43, 8,
8.
91 points. 91 points on the season. The next closest team in their division is Toronto with 78. Like, that's a lot. That's a pretty damn big difference.
That's a problem.
Now, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Now, the trade deadline is coming up, so they can still bolster this roster. Think about that, right? But you have Bergeron and Krejci and Charlie Coyle and Nick Foligno and Taylor Hall. Oh, just won a thing they like to call the MVP. Marchand the face licker. Pasta. I mean,
Marchand the face licker.
He's Marchand the face licker. That's what he is. Now, the goaltending situation, right? Tuukka Rask ultimately retired, and you're trying to figure out, are these guys legit? Are Olmark and Jeremy Swayman going to be able to replace Tuukka Rask? And the answer is yes. Like, it's, Swayman is 13-4-4 with a 2.21 goals against. That's pretty freaking good. Now, as far as teams in the East that can give them a run, I mean, I'm going to be partial, right? I'm going to be biased towards the Rangers just because I'm a Ranger fan. Like, as quiet as it's kept, I'm a Ranger fan. They just picked up Vladimir Tarasenko. They now can roll 4 lines, right? Now, that's a pretty dangerous combination. Nobody's near Boston, right? I mean, the Rangers only have 75 points. Very good, nowhere close. Maple Leafs. They just traded for Ryan O'Reilly. Solid player to add to the forward depth, right? Because you still have Mitch Marner, you still have Austin Matthews, you still have Nylander. Nobody's catching the Bruins right now. Nobody. It's not even close. Even Carolina. They got drubbed by the Rangers. They got drubbed. So
by the Rangers, or they got by Boston?
By the Rangers. So we were talking about the Rangers about that one. So by kind of that, like, the Rangers aren't on the Bruins level, and the Canes got pretty well handled. So would it be a tough series? Yes, but the Bruins are still more talented.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard to look. It's hard. But go ahead. What do you think?
I mean, for me, what they're doing this year is just ridiculous. I blinked my eyes and it was 3-0. I saw the game too over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about hockey is you get a hot goaltender, anything can happen. And I like teams. I like defending champions. So I know Tampa won 2 years ago, but I think Tampa could. If Tampa's rolling, they could beat them. I think the Florida Panthers could beat them. And I think a pissed off Alexander Ovechkin could beat them. So those are the only 3 teams I think could really do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you're kind of. How many times can you be disappointed by the Florida Panthers? How many times?
Eventually, something has to give, right?
Yeah. Well, usually they break up the team. Usually that's what happens. That you get to the point of frustration and they break up the team. But this year they're not having as great of a year as last year anyway. They're only 29-25 on the season, but they do have the goalie, right? They do have Bobrovsky. You do have Tampa Bay. They have Vasilevsky. right? The Rangers have Shesterkin. The Caps are lying in the weeds. It's a team you always have to worry about. Now, a team like the Devils, like just a little bit ahead, could be a sleeper, but do you worry as a Bruins fan that they're peaking too soon? Do you worry that they're so far out ahead of everybody that it's just going to be downhill from here, right? And you concern yourself with the fact that they still have to get to May and June. Now, are they going to be spent by that time? That's why I think that the trade deadline is going to be very fascinating. Are they going to add? Can they bolster this lineup? Could a guy like Patrick Kane end up in Boston and make it even more formidable, even more deadly? I don't know. I mean, time's going to tell, but that's definitely something you need to keep in the back of your mind, that it's still very early because we have to play until June if we want to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup. But you mentioned hot goalie. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Injuries, hot goalie, slumps. Hockey can be a very fickle sport. Extremely fickle sport. Email number 3 comes to us from Dan in Champaign, Illinois. Haven't heard you guys talk much about college basketball this year. I know it's early, but any 4 teams that you like?
Well, I like Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker.
Right.
I can. It's tough because it's been so up and down, but I'll say I like Purdue. I like Tennessee. I like Kansas State. And the 4th one's going to be a wild card. You know, the 4th one could be. Not going to say Northwestern, but say no, not Texas Tech. They're not going to be good. And Duke and Carolina are terrible. So I'll go with a blue blood. I'll go with Kansas, just because they've been playing really well lately.
Well, they're really the only traditional.
So I got
a
a lot of Big 12 schools.
That's fair. That is very fair. I mean, Kansas is the only traditional power that's kind of up there. Kansas and UCLA, right? But North Carolina was the preseason number 1. Where are they now? Look at you now.
Yeah, they're not.
Dude,
they might not make the tournament.
No, the NIT is going to be so fucking great this year. They're going to be loaded with.
Just by names, though, but not with good basketball.
Who cares? You're going to have Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky in the NIT. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Now, the Alabama situation is very interesting to me. Like, it's, they're a non-traditional power, but then you also have their best player wrapped up in this murder. I don't know if you saw that. Apparently, their best player supplied a gun or brought a gun that was ultimately...
Yeah, Brandon Miller.
Yeah, that was ultimately used in a murder. So I'm like, that's a little, that gives you a little bit of pause right there. Like, that definitely gets your attention for all the wrong reasons. I mean, Purdue, how many times they're going to be a number 1? Like, they've been up and down all year, but they've been at the top multiple times. Houston is a team that definitely, they're on the come. So they're definitely worth noting. But yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate year of, does anybody want it? And that's I've noticed the trend, right? It seems to be that, like, nobody really wants it. The number 1, no, you can have it. I'm good. No, I got it. No, you can have it now. It kind of gets passed around. And I wonder how much of that is due to the NIL deals and a developed sense of parity. Teams can compete with the big blue bloods now, right? There's a reason why North Carolina is nowhere to be found here. Are they recruiting the best of the best? Not necessarily. Like, other teams can pay too. A team like Virginia is always dangerous. You have Baylor. Baylor's always going to hang around. But top of the top, Houston, Purdue. I'm monitoring Alabama. But I'm not too sold on it. And then, just based on recent track record, Kansas. Like, I'm with you on Kansas. Like, they're playing great right now. Somebody has to. Somebody's got to represent for the OGs. It might as well be the Kansas Jayhawks.
You can't help but smile when you see a balloon. The simplest occasion is a party. Westchester Pop Stars, located in New Rochelle, New York, offers balloon styling and decor for all life's events. Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, showers, school and corporate events, store openings, or just because. Westchester Pop Stars takes balloons and shapes them into works of art, creating decorative installations for your special occasions. No event is too big or too small, and their custom personalization service is top-notch. Westchester Pop Stars is a private studio, quickly expanding. In-person consultation is by appointment only. Send an email to westchesterpopstars@gmail.com for more information or to schedule an appointment. No need to hire an event stylist. All you need is balloons. Currently servicing Westchester, Putnam, New York City, and Connecticut. To find Westchester Pop Stars, search for them on Instagram, Facebook, or Google.
The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. Here's how it goes. We put up a poll on our Twitter account at FadeRouteDNZ, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote, and the vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show and the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week?
I don't know.
It was Kevin Durant.
That guy.
You built a super team. Again, what do you expect, Kev? Like, KD, what the hell do you expect? But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
All right. Well, first up, I've got Alabama, right? For letting freshman Brandon Miller play despite being linked to bringing a former teammate a gun that was used to kill a woman. Do better. Just do better. Second, I have is Netflix releasing a quarterback series starring, wait for this, Pat Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota?
Huh?
Like, what? Where did you pick these guys' names out of a hat? Just do better. Do better. And last, and certainly one of the least, Adam Silver for allowing that glorified layup line to be played on Sunday night and calling it the NBA All-Star Game. How about we get some guys out there next year that have pride in their craft, pride in the league, and want to compete on a high level? Z, what do you got?
All fine choices. All absolutely fine choices. I'm going to have to start with the NBA in general, not just Adam Silver for allowing the All-Star game to happen, but that is just hot garbage. What we witnessed was absolute garbage. And you can disguise it all you want in terms of offense and, Kevin Durant saying that, people want to see transactions now. People don't necessarily... What? So what you're saying is that people are more interested in the transactions of the league than the actual play of the league? I'm trying to follow. I'm honestly trying to follow that, but if that's the case, then they are screwed. They are screwed. NBA, you are my alleged superstar of the week. The XFL, welcome back. Dear God.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. I really loved all of those fans disguised as empty seats. That was wonderful. I didn't realize it was Halloween. But third string football, spring football, but with all the bells and whistles and with The Rock's endorsement and all that good stuff.
Tickets are about $20 in case you're interested.
It's not bad. But you get what you pay for. You definitely get what you pay for. I will give you that. You are definitely going to... You'll get your money's worth and then some with $20. You might even get some change. XFL, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And last but not least, I'm going to have to go with Derek Carr. For the whole process, you got wooed, you went to the Italian restaurant, confided in your brother that it's going to be a long process. You know, read through the lines, right? Read through the lines. He didn't get a good offer. So, Derek's going to wait. Okay, that's fine. Remember who you are. That's all I'm saying. Remember who you are. You have other guys in this game of musical chairs who are better than you, who are more established than you. That's all I'm saying, Derek. Just remember who you are. Beggars can't be choosers. You were a Raider your entire career. Derek Carr, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece. Go to the Fade Route DNZ Twitter page and vote. And vote, and vote, and vote. And for our nominees. Just do better, boys. Just do better. For all the grill masters, green thumbers, home repair heroes, and DIY aficionados in the Richmond, Virginia area, if you're looking for personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience, look no further than Thacker Ace Hardware in Colonial Heights, Virginia. Owner Don Rackley and his team of local experts have everything you need to tackle all of your home projects. I'm talking paints by Benjamin Moore and Clark in Kensington, power tools by Craftsman and Milwaukee, electrical, plumbing, hardware, and let's not miss the grills. Weber, Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blackstone, top shelf, amazing. And for all you green thumbers, their nursery department is fantastic. Give them a call today, 804-766-4223, or stop by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. That's 804-766-4223, or swing by 27 Dunlop Village in Colonial Heights. Thacker Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks. Order up! All right, boys and girls, it's time for us to order up.
Order up, order up.
Last week, we started our preview of the Major League Baseball season by ordering up the American League West. This week, we are ordering up the National League West from 5 to 1. Who you got, D?
All right, so first up, I have the Diamondbacks. Lots of young talent, but they are 2 years away from being 2 years away. Number 4, I got the Rockies. when the owner is optimistic about the team being 500, you know you're in trouble. Number 3, I've got the Giants. They missed out on Correa. They missed out on Judge, but I think they're going to be okay. I mean, they went and signed Mitch Haniger. They got well-rested Michael Conforto ready to play. So I think that's good for a third. Number 2, it's going to be the Padres. They're still the Dodgers' little brother. Machado, Soto, Bogarts, Darvish, Musgrove, they got stars. Number 1 in all your hearts, I got the Dodgers. Won in 9 of the last 10 years, coming off a record-breaking 111-win season. Betts, Freeman, Bueller, Kershaw, gang's all here. Maybe Ohtani. So yeah, that's what I got.
I mean, good choices. You definitely have, a well-represented view of the National League West. This is tough, right? It's who sucks less for Arizona or Colorado. Now, I did live in Colorado for about a year and never got to a Rockies game. Never was really high priority. Yeah, no, they're in last place. Yeah, no. Charlie Blackmon will eventually get traded. You'll have CJ Cron will probably get traded. Senzatella will probably get traded at some point. Herman Marquez will probably get traded. You don't have enough major league talent on this roster. Daniel Bard is on this roster, right? Like, he had a great year, right? He comeback player, rediscovered himself after the yips. It's not good enough. Kyle Freeland is probably your ace. Not good enough. How long before Chris Bryant wants out of town? And who will take him?
He's got to play. I think he only played like 36 or 46 games last year.
Right. So the cupboard is bare, man. The cupboard is bare in Colorado. The only thing that puts Arizona, in my opinion, above them is that they have slightly better pitching. Right?
Way better Mexican food, too.
Well, I don't know. Not necessarily. Denver has really good Mexican food. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, Denver has really good fucking Mexican food. But, like, you have Christian Walker. You have Josh Rojas. Ketel Marte is there. Ketel Marte is there. You have some players. You have some position players. They got Lourdes Gurriel.
Sound like a bunch of guys at the back of a fucking bar.
Well, it's more than what Colorado's got, right? Like, I mean, I've heard of these guys. This guy here is dead. Cross him off then. That's kind of what this is what Colorado's looking at, At least, there's some up-and-coming young talent like Alec Thomas, Pavin Smith, and then say what you will about the rotation, but Madison Bumgarner, Zach Davies, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, these are serviceable players. They're serviceable pitchers. At this point, they're number 4s. You have a collection of 4s, but, they'll be in it. So, Rockies at 5, D-backs at 4. Giants firmly at 3. We agree. The Giants are firmly at 3. They did not do anywhere near enough. Right? They brought in Mitch Haniger. Okay. That's nice. You wanted Aaron Judge. Right? Well, Carlos Correa, where's he at? Yeah, that's that. You brought in Sean Manaea. You brought in Ross Stripling. You bolstered the rotation. That's great. But who's scoring the runs? Wilmer Flores, Tyler Estrada, J.D. Davis, New York castoffs. Is Joey Bart any good? Right? He was supposed to be the guy who's going to replace Buster Posey. We're going to find out. Like, the runs have to come from somewhere. And I don't know. I really don't know. Because Conforto, Jock Peterson, Yastrzemski, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding. But the pitching will carry them through to third place. Leaves 2-1. Padres, Dodgers. Dodgers and Padres. Who do you choose? Who do you choose? It's old money versus new money. It's little brother versus big brother. At what point does the little brother knock out the big brother? At what point does the little brother play King of the Hill and take it? Padres fans hope it's this year, right? You bring in Seth Lugo, you add on to your name at every position roster, right? Now you have Xander Bogaerts, very luxury, an extremely luxury pickup. Outfield is extremely thin outside of Juan Soto. Grisham's not great. You have Adam Engel, Matt Carpenter. You brought in Nelson Cruz. You brought in, 43-year-old Nelson Cruz. Like, it's got to be this year, right? It's put up or shut up time. It's make or break. And I just can't do it. I just can't take the Padres over the Dodgers. The Dodgers have been there. They've done that. They have the rings. To be the man, you got to beat the man. We're going to see if the Padres are going to beat the man. I think they're firmly at 2, and the Dodgers are going to keep cruising at 1. They're just that damn good, and they're willing to get better. Ohtani, anyone?
This has been the Fade Route with D&Z. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay faded, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route, but we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.